Good evening. Tonight's story unfolds within the world created by Mr. Robert Kirkman in his rather bleak masterwork, The Walking Dead. If you haven't experienced his comic series or the subsequent television adaptation, do seek them out. They've earned the popularity, and our humble audio drama merely explores a corner of the vast graveyard he so thoughtfully provided. We've chosen to tell our tale through the lens of broadcast media, news anchors, radio hosts, emergency alerts, all those reassuring voices that guide us through our days. It's curious, isn't it, how much we trust a voice simply because it comes through a speaker with confidence. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Though given the subject matter, I suspect most involved would prefer not to be recognized. The voices you're about to hear were synthesized by artificial intelligence, though I assure you the questionable judgment that brought them together was entirely human. I believe they're standing by in the studio now. Do try to remember, as you listen, that every catastrophe begins with someone saying there's no cause for alarm. Enjoy the show.
Personal Research Journal. Dr. Louis Moreau, Primrose Team, La Biomedicine Facility, March 23, 2010. We made history today. After 3 years of dead ends and failures, Subject 27 showed sustained neural activity 40 minutes post-mortem. 40 minutes. The brainstem responded to the compound. The hindbrain activated. For nearly an hour, we had reversed death itself. My colleagues in Violet Team are calling it premature. They want more testing, more protocols. But they don't understand. The applications are limitless. Stroke victims, cardiac arrest patients, trauma cases we currently lose in the first 15 minutes. We could save them all. Director Fontaine approved human trials. We begin next week. I know there are ethical concerns, but we're not creating life. We're preserving it. We're giving people a second chance. April 2nd, 2010. The first human subject died 6 hours ago. Terminal pancreatic cancer. He signed the consent forms knowing he had days left. We administered the compound at the moment of clinical death. 8 minutes later, his eyes opened. The monitors showed brain activity. Primitive, basic, but unmistakable. The brainstem was functioning. We had done it. We had actually done it. But something is wrong. He's not responsive. Higher brain functions remain absent. The frontal cortex, the regions governing cognition and personality, they're dark. Only the most primitive systems are active. Autonomic, predatory. He attacked the nurse during vitals check, bit her hand. Security restrained him, but the aggression it's not human. It's something else. We're keeping him sedated while we run additional tests. Violet Team is insisting we terminate the trial, but I need to understand what went wrong. We were so close. April 3rd, 2010. The nurse died this morning. Septic shock from the bite. The infection spread faster than any bacterial pathogen we've documented. 48 hours from exposure to death. What happened next? I don't have the words. She was on the table in the morgue, pronounced dead at 0730 hours. At 0815, she sat up. We never administered the compound to her. She was not part of the trial, but somehow the effect, it transferred. The bite, it must have been the bite. 2 subjects now, both exhibiting identical pathology. Reanimation without cognition, extreme aggression, biological imperative to bite, to feed. This isn't medicine anymore. This is, I don't know what this is. Director Fontaine has ordered complete lockdown. No one enters or leaves the facility. We're running pathogen analysis now. If this is transmissible, if it can spread beyond direct fluid contact, we need to know immediately. April 12th, 2010. The analysis results came back. Airborne transmission confirmed. The compound has aerosolized. Containment protocols failed days ago. Everyone in this facility has been exposed. We're all infected. Every single person who entered the building since February 9th carries the pathogen. And it's stable. It integrates into the host without symptoms. Dormant. Waiting. Waiting for what? For death. The pathogen activates upon cessation of life. It doesn't matter how you die, heart attack, old age, accident. If you die with this inside you, you come back. 73 people work in this facility. 73 vectors. How many went home? How many took the metro? Flew to other cities? We've been breathing this out for a week. How far has it spread? Director Fontaine is on the phone with Geneva, the World Health Organization, the CDC in America, trying to coordinate a response. But what response is there? You can't quarantine air. You can't vaccinate against something already inside every cell. April 26, 2010. The government has sealed the building. We can't leave. They're calling it protective custody, but we all know what it is. We're in a tomb, waiting to join the others. I think about my wife, my daughter. I kissed them both goodbye the morning of April 2nd. Did I breathe this into them? Are they already carrying it? The American CDC confirmed global distribution. Samples from Tokyo, London, Sao Paulo. The pathogen is on every continent, spread by air travel, by tourists, by business travelers. They're estimating complete global saturation by late July, early August. We did this. We wanted to cure death, and instead we made it permanent. We made it contagious. We made it inevitable. May 7th, 2010. Pilot team attempted to engineer a cure. They're using aggressive compounds, trying to suppress the pathogen's activation trigger. But every test subject who dies and receives the treatment, they don't stay dead. They rise faster, stronger, more aggressive. We're making it worse. Every attempt to fix this creates something more dangerous. Director Fontaine shut down Violet Team's trials this morning, but the damage is done. The variants they created, they're still in containment. For now, I found a can of spray paint in the maintenance closet. I wrote on the wall of Lab 7, 5 words. The only truth that matters now. Les morts sont nés ici. The dead were born here. May 14th, 2010. This will be my final entry. The Americans are sending a team. Primrose team has been invited to Toledo, Ohio for a conference in May. They want our data, our research. They think they can contain this. They can't. No one can. By the time the world realizes what we've done, it will be too late to stop it. Before long, the pathogen will be everywhere, in everyone. Waiting. I thought I was saving lives. I thought I was pushing the boundaries of science. But all we did, was end the world. I don't know how long until someone finds this journal. Weeks, months, years. Maybe no one ever will. Maybe it doesn't matter. But if you're reading this, if you found this in the ruins of what we built, know that we didn't mean for this to happen. We thought we were doing good. We thought we could cheat death. We were wrong, and now everyone pays the price. Forgive us. If there's anyone left to forgive, forgive us. End of recording.
Good evening, I'm Carl Porter. Our top story tonight, a heat wave continues to grip the Pacific Northwest, with temperatures in Portland reaching 104 degrees today. Officials are urging residents to check on elderly neighbors and avoid outdoor activities during peak afternoon hours. In local news, school districts across the region are preparing for the upcoming fall semester. Principals report they're finalizing hiring for several open teaching positions, and new safety procedures will be in place when students return after Labor Day. Registration packets should arrive in mailboxes by the end of the week. Now turning to weather. Meteorologists at the National Weather Service have detected some minor seismic activity offshore. The readings, recorded early this morning approximately 200 miles west of the coast, are believed to be harmless tectonic adjustments. Officials say there's no cause for concern, and no tsunami warnings have been issued. County General Hospital reports they're seeing a few unusual cases this week. A hospital spokesperson says some patients are presenting with symptoms that don't quite fit typical patterns, but medical staff are monitoring the situations closely. Officials stress there's no cause for public concern at this time. Traffic was heavy on Highway 38 this evening following a multi-car accident near the Route 9 interchange. The collision involved 4 vehicles. Witnesses reported one driver appeared to be acting strangely before the crash, though the cause remains under investigation. All lanes have since reopened, but drivers should expect residual delays through the evening commute. And finally tonight, the downtown farmers market will be open this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Organizers are expecting a great turnout with the warm weather we've been having. Stay cool in this heat, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow night. For Channel 7 News, I'm Carl Porter. Good night.
All right, so we're back, and I've got Dr. Nick Clark with me, who's a virologist, which sounds way smarter than anything I do. So, Dr. Clark, thanks for coming on.
Happy to be here.
So, I've been reading about these new diseases popping up, like every few years there's a new one, bird flu, swine flu, all these things. Is that just because we're better at detecting stuff now, or are there actually more diseases?
It's a bit of both, honestly. We've got better surveillance, better diagnostic tools, so we catch things earlier. But there's also the reality that human populations are larger and more connected than ever. A pathogen that might have burned out in an isolated village 200 years ago can now hop on a plane and be in 6 countries before we even know it exists.
That's terrifying.
Well, it's not all doom and gloom. We're also better at responding. The thing that keeps me up at night, though, is when you see patterns in hospital data that don't quite fit any known disease model.
Like what?
Well, for example, right now there are some interesting cases showing up in hospital networks. Nothing widespread, but curious. We're seeing reports of patients with extremely aggressive secondary infections. Like someone comes in with what looks like an animal bite, and within hours they're septic.
From a bite? Like a dog bite?
Unclear. The wound patterns are unusual, and the infection doesn't respond to normal antibiotic treatment. It progresses way too fast. Some of these patients are dying within 48 hours of the initial injury.
Jesus. Is this something people should be worried about?
Probably not. I mean, we're talking about a handful of cases across multiple states. It's worth monitoring, but it's not an epidemic. The CDC is aware. Hospitals are tracking it, so we're keeping an eye on things.
What about, ancient viruses? I read this thing about viruses frozen in permafrost that could come back.
Well, technically those are real ancient viruses. Thawing out is a legitimate concern in terms of exposing populations to things they have no immunity to. But it's not like the movies. Viruses need living cells to replicate. They can't reanimate dead tissue.
That's disappointing. I was hoping for something more exciting.
Trust me, boring is good when it comes to infectious disease.
Fair enough. So bottom line, people should just, not worry about this bite thing?
If you get bitten by an animal, any animal, go to the hospital. Get it cleaned properly. Get rabies shots if needed. But yeah, no need to panic. These are isolated cases, and we're investigating.
All right, well, we'll definitely have you back if things get weird. Dr. Nick Clark, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Good evening, I'm Carl Porter. We begin tonight with a disturbing incident that occurred over the weekend on Highway 38. A driver involved in a single vehicle accident attacked paramedics who responded to the scene. Our Daryl Stokes has been speaking with first responders. Daryl, what can you tell us?
Carl, this was a pretty bizarre situation. According to the EMS crew I spoke with, the driver appeared to have died on impact. One paramedic told me, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the man had no vital signs when they arrived at the vehicle. They were preparing to notify the coroner. The individual then became violent. Paramedics report he attacked the medical team with what they described as extraordinary strength. 2 paramedics were injured, including bite wounds. Responding officers attempted to subdue the individual, but were unsuccessful. Police discharged their firearms at the scene.
Daryl, what's the medical explanation for someone with no vital signs becoming violent?
The medical examiner I spoke with said this was likely a case of final neural activity before death. Apparently, in rare cases, the brain can fire off electrical impulses that cause movement even after the heart has stopped. He stressed this is extremely uncommon, but not impossible. The 2 injured paramedics were treated and released. Back to you, Carl.
Thank you, Daryl. In other news tonight, a video circulating on social media has raised concerns. The footage, reportedly filmed during a traffic stop in Nevada, appears to show an individual being shot multiple times by police, but continuing to advance toward officers. Law enforcement officials say the video has been heavily edited and is misleading. They stress that frames have been removed to create the illusion that the individual was not affected by the gunfire. Authorities are asking the public not to share unverified content and to report any such videos to local police departments. County General Hospital is addressing what they're calling a misunderstanding that occurred early Sunday morning. A patient who had been pronounced deceased reportedly became violent in the hospital morgue, attacking a night shift nurse. Hospital administration released a statement saying the patient had not actually died, but was in a deep coma that was misdiagnosed. The patient died during the incident. The nurse sustained injuries but is expected to recover. The hospital says they're reviewing their procedures to prevent similar errors. Local police are reporting a higher than normal volume of missing persons reports and welfare check requests. Most cases are being resolved, with individuals found and returned to their families. In one instance, a woman was found wandering along Highway 7, approximately 8 miles from her home. She appeared confused and disoriented. She's currently under medical observation at Mercy General. Family members say she called in sick to work on Friday, and they hadn't heard from her since. Doctors are attributing her condition to severe dehydration and possible fever-related confusion. In related news, several school districts across the metro area have announced closures for Monday due to high seasonal flu rates. Fairfax County Public Schools will transition to an e-learning day as a precautionary measure to help control the spread of illness. District spokesperson Karen Martinez said attendance has dropped nearly 15% over the past week, with most absences attributed to flu-like symptoms. Meanwhile, the Loudoun County School District is reporting what officials are calling disturbing behavior around campus grounds over the weekend. Security footage captured several individuals acting erratically near school property late Saturday night. Police patrol has been increased as a precaution, though officials say there's no immediate threat to students or staff. In weather, the heat wave continues with temperatures expected to remain in the mid-90s through Wednesday. The National Weather Service says relief should arrive by the weekend. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow. For Channel 7 News, I'm Carl Porter. Good night.
Welcome back to the Midnight Line. I'm Grant Mazzy, and if you're just tuning in, you know what kind of show this is. We talk about the things that make you go in the middle of the night. And folks, it's been an odd week. The phone lines have been lighting up since we went on air. People want to talk, so let's go to the phones. First caller tonight is from Ohio. You're on the air.
Hi, Grant. Thank you for taking my call. I don't know if this is related to anything, but my neighbor hasn't been seen in 3 days. She was supposed to pick up her dog from the vet on Friday, and she never showed. The vet called me because I'm listed as her emergency contact, and nobody's answering her door. I called the police, but they said unless there's evidence of foul play, there's not much they can do. She's an adult. She can go where she wants. But this isn't like her, Grant. She wouldn't just leave her dog.
That is concerning. Have you checked with other neighbors? Maybe she mentioned going out of town?
I asked everyone on the street. Nobody's seen her. Her car's still in the driveway. I'm worried.
I hear you. Keep on the police, and I hope she turns up safe. Thanks for calling. Let's go to our next caller. You're on the Midnight Line.
Grant, long-time listener. I want to talk about these school closures. 3 schools in 3 different districts all announcing closures on the same day. That doesn't seem coordinated to you.
Well, the news said it was safety concerns. Something about disturbing behavior near school grounds.
Right. But 3 different schools see the same thing at the same time? Look, I'm not saying it's anything sinister, but when multiple institutions make the same decision at the same time, that's coordination. Who's coordinating it?
You think there's some kind of, conspiracy to close schools?
I think it's worth asking questions. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. Next caller, you're on the air.
Grant, I think people are losing their minds over nothing. There have been some odd incidents, sure, but people are acting like it's the end of the world. This is normal life. Strange things happen sometimes. The last caller, no offense to her, but her neighbor is probably fine. Maybe she went to visit family and forgot to mention it. Maybe she's dealing with something personal. That doesn't mean something sinister is happening.
You might be right. Sometimes weird is just weird, but it's an odd week nonetheless. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more of your calls. The lines are still open. Stay with us.
Good morning, church. I want to start this morning by acknowledging that we're living through some unsettling times. Looking around, I can see some empty pews where familiar faces usually sit. And I know many of you have been hearing the news, seeing the reports, and feeling uncertain about what's happening in our community. Some of you have called the church office this week asking about the incidents being reported, the accidents, the strange behavior people have witnessed, and I'll be honest with you, I don't have all the answers. None of us do right now. But I do know this. The book of Psalms, chapter 46, verses 1 and 2, says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea. When things feel uncertain, when the world around us doesn't make sense, that's when our faith is most important. Not as an escape from reality, but as an anchor in the storm. I want to encourage all of you today to check on your neighbors, especially the elderly in our congregation. Give them a call, see if they need anything, make sure they're safe. These small acts of kindness, they matter. They're how we live out our faith in practical ways. Some of you have asked if you should be worried, if you should keep your children home from school, if you should avoid certain areas, and those are reasonable questions. I would say, be prudent. Pay attention to what authorities are telling us, but don't let fear control you. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 6, verse 34, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. That doesn't mean we ignore what's happening. It means we face each day with faith, not panic. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today in a time of uncertainty. We pray for those who have been hurt in recent incidents. We pray for the families who are grieving. We pray for the first responders and medical workers who are facing things they don't understand. Give them wisdom and courage. And we pray for ourselves that we would be good neighbors, good friends, and faithful servants. Help us to be your hands and feet in a world that needs you. In Jesus' name, amen. May the peace of Christ be with you all this week. Stay safe, stay close to each other, and go in God's love.
Good evening, I'm Carl Porter. Over the past 4 days, police have responded to 9 separate incidents involving violent, erratic individuals attacking bystanders or first responders. What connects these cases is deeply troubling. Our Rosita Hawthorne has been investigating. Rosita?
Carl, the pattern is disturbing. In all 9 cases, the attackers had been reported as deceased or near death before becoming violent. I spoke with a paramedic who responded to one of these incidents at Sunrise Care Facility. She told me an elderly patient had passed away during the night shift. When a nurse entered the room several hours later to prepare the body for transport, the patient attacked her. Similar reports are coming from across the region. A man who died in a traffic accident on Sunday reportedly sat up and attacked emergency personnel. A woman found unresponsive in her home became violent when paramedics attempted to move her. All 9 attackers are now deceased. Several victims are being treated for severe bite wounds. Those injured by bites are being held under medical observation as a precautionary measure.
Rosita, have medical examiners offered any explanation?
The official explanation is that these individuals were not actually dead, but in states of metabolic suppression that mimicked death. One doctor described it as a coma so deep that vital signs became undetectable. But Carl, Several first responders I spoke with off the record say they've never seen anything like this in 20 years on the job. They are describing unusual patterns in these incidents. Multiple sources say the attackers could not be subdued through standard restraint techniques. According to these accounts, the individuals only stopped their attacks after sustaining severe head trauma. We're working to verify these claims with official sources and will bring you updates as more information becomes available. Back to you.
Thank you, Rosita. We have sad news to report about several individuals injured in recent attack incidents. 3 people who sustained bite wounds in separate attacks over the weekend have died at area hospitals. Medical examiners report all 3 developed severe bacterial infections that progressed with extraordinary speed. One physician described it as the most aggressive infection she had seen in her career. Antibiotics proved ineffective. All 3 patients were dead within 48 hours of their injuries. The bodies are being held by the county medical examiner's office pending further analysis. Health officials have denied requests from family members to view or claim the remains, citing public health concerns. Dr. Patricia Hitchcock from the county health department released a statement saying the decision was made, quote, out of an abundance of caution given the unusual nature of the infection. Families have expressed frustration with the lack of information and access. One family member, who asked not to be identified, told Channel 7 they've been given no timeline for when they might be able to hold funeral services. Several more schools across the county announced closures today, but not for the reason initially reported. School officials now say the closures are due to safety concerns following reports of disturbing behavior near school grounds. Several parents reported seeing individuals who appeared to be homeless or disoriented approaching children during dismissal. One parent described a person moving strangely and making aggressive gestures. School districts emphasize this is purely precautionary, and classes are expected to resume Monday. Joining us now is Dr. Carol Grimes, an infectious disease specialist. Dr. Grimes, what should people know about these violent incidents and the infections we're seeing?
Carl, what we're likely seeing is the effect of a new synthetic drug, similar to bath salts or PCP. These substances can cause extreme aggression, superhuman strength, and complete insensitivity to pain. There was a well-documented case in Florida several years ago where an individual on bath salts attacked someone and could not be stopped.
But doctor, witnesses are saying these people appeared to be dead. How do you explain that?
These drugs can lower vital signs to nearly undetectable levels. Heart rate drops dramatically, breathing becomes shallow. Someone might appear deceased to the untrained eye, but they're actually in a metabolic state we don't fully understand yet. It's, frankly, terrifying stuff.
What about the infections killing bite victims so quickly?
Human bites carry an enormous bacterial load. They're actually more dangerous than most animal bites. Add to that the possibility that these individuals have been living in unsanitary conditions, using contaminated drugs, and you have a recipe for lethal infection. The speed is unusual, I'll grant you that, but not impossible.
Dr. Grimes, thank you for your time. We'll continue monitoring the situation as it develops. In other news, the heat wave finally broke today with temperatures dropping into the low 80s. Meteorologists say cooler weather should persist through the weekend. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you Monday. For Channel 7 News, I'm Carl Porter. Good night.
All right, so I had to bring you back. Dr. Nick Clark is here again because what we talked about last time, it's gotten way worse.
Yeah, I've been losing sleep over this.
So last time, you said we were seeing aggressive secondary infections from bites. What's the latest on that?
It's worse than I thought. Way worse. We now have 11 confirmed deaths from bite wounds, all within 48 hours of injury. That's not normal. Human bites are dangerous, yes, but this level of mortality, this fast, something else is going on.
What about the bath salts explanation? The news is saying these attackers are on drugs.
That's what they're saying. And look, bath salts can absolutely cause extreme behavior. But here's what doesn't add up. Bath salts users they're alive. Paramedics and doctors are reporting that these attackers had no vital signs when they arrived. 0 pulse, no breathing. Then they became violent.
Okay, but wait, that's not possible, right?
Based on everything I know about human biology, no, it's not possible. But I'm hearing this from multiple sources, credible sources, people I trust. So either they're all wrong, which seems unlikely, or something is happening that we don't understand.
What about the infections? Why are bite victims dying so fast?
That's the other thing. The bacterial load in these bites it's unlike anything we've seen. It's like the attackers' mouths are carrying this incredibly virulent pathogen. And antibiotics don't touch it. We throw everything at these infections and they keep progressing. And I'm hearing from colleagues, people I trust, that bodies are being held. Families can't claim them, no explanation given. And these violent incidents, they're not isolated. I've got sources at 3 different hospitals telling me the same thing. People coming in unconscious or appearing dead, then suddenly becoming violent without warning. There's no clear explanation for any of this. The official line is bacterial infection, but that doesn't explain the behavior. It doesn't explain why these people can't be restrained. Something is wrong here, something we're not being told, or something we just don't understand yet.
So what should people do if they're bitten?
Get to a hospital immediately. Don't wait. Don't think it'll be fine. You have maybe 24 hours before the infection becomes critical, maybe less. And honestly, I'm not sure we can save you even then, but you have a better chance if treatment starts immediately.
This is terrifying.
Yeah, it is. And I don't want to create panic, but people need to understand this is serious. Stay away from anyone behaving aggressively or strangely. Don't try to help them yourself. Call 911 and keep your distance.
Man. All right, well, I appreciate you being honest about this. We'll definitely have you back as this develops. Dr. Nick Clark, thank you.
Thanks. Stay safe out there.
August 15th, 11:47 p.m. Dr. Shane Williams, St. Catherine's Emergency Department. I'm recording this because, I don't know, maybe someone needs to hear what's happening here. Or maybe I just need to say it out loud. They showed up 3 days ago. CDC. 6 of them. Hazmat suits, badges, briefcases full of paperwork we weren't allowed to read. The hospital administrator pulled me aside and told me to, quote, cooperate fully. That was it. No explanation. The rules came next. Any patient with a bite wound, any patient with unexplained aggressive behavior, any death in the ER, we call them first. Not security, not administration. Them. They take over immediately. And here's the thing that's eating at me. They're not just handling the unusual cases. They're handling every death. Heart attack, stroke, car accident, doesn't matter. Someone dies, they clear the room, nurses out, family, absolutely not allowed in. I stayed in the room last night, 82-year-old woman, cardiac arrest. We called it at 10:38 p.m. One of the CDC doctors tried to wave me out. I told him I needed to finish my documentation. He didn't like it, but he couldn't exactly force me to leave. I watched him. He pulled out this metal spike, maybe 6 inches long, thin, surgical steel, and he inserted it through her eye socket, straight into the brain. He called it a cranial puncture procedure. When I asked him why, he just looked at me and said, preventative containment measure. I asked him what that meant. He told me I didn't have clearance for that information. In my own ER, with my own patient. This morning, they locked down the morgue, access restricted, CDC personnel only. The pathologist tried to get in to perform an autopsy on a drowning victim, and they turned her away. She's been working in this hospital for 16 years, and they won't let her into her own morgue. They're not letting families see the bodies. Not for viewing, not for identification, nothing. Bodies go straight to the morgue, and I don't know what happens after that. One mother begged me for 20 minutes to see her son. Motorcycle accident. 23 years old. I had to tell her it wasn't possible. Yesterday, I was told in very clear terms not to discuss any of this. Not with family, not with the media, not with anyone outside the hospital. The hospital administrator said it was a matter of national security. National security. In an emergency room in the middle of nowhere. But here's what I can't stop thinking about. 3 nights ago, before the CDC arrived, we had a patient code in Bay 4, 37-year-old male, severe sepsis, multi-organ failure. We worked on him for 40 minutes, called it at 2:16 a.m. I was filling out the death certificate at the nurse's station. Bay 4 was maybe 30 feet away. I had a clear line of sight to the body. We'd covered him with a sheet, standard procedure. I was writing, and I looked up. The sheet moved, not like a draft. It sat up. The body sat up. I saw the outline of the head and shoulders through the fabric for maybe 5 seconds. Then it fell back down. I ran over there, pulled back the sheet. He was exactly as we'd left him. No pulse, no respiration, pupils fixed and dilated, core temperature dropping, dead. I told myself I was exhausted. 14-hour shift, running on coffee and adrenaline. I'd been staring at paperwork and my eyes played tricks on me. That's what I told myself. But then the CDC showed up the next day with their hazmat suits and their metal spikes and their locked morgue, and they started puncturing the brains of every single person who dies in this hospital. Every single one. What if I didn't imagine it? What if that body did sit up? What if that's why they're here? What if they know something we don't? I keep thinking about all the families we're turning away, all the bodies we're not releasing, all the questions we're not answering. And I keep thinking, if this is standard outbreak procedure, what kind of outbreak requires you to destroy the brain of every corpse? The nurses are scared. I can see it in their faces. We've all heard the rumors from other hospitals. Violent patients, impossible injuries, people who should be dead still moving. But we're not allowed to talk about it. We just keep working. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what they're not telling us. But I know this. In 12 years of emergency medicine, I have never seen anything like this. I have never felt this kind of fear in my own hospital. Tomorrow, I'm going to ask the CDC team lead directly what's going on. I'm going to demand answers. These are my patients. This is my hospital. I have a right to know. End recording.
Good evening. I'm Carl Porter. The CDC has deployed a team to our region to investigate what they're calling an unusual cluster of violent incidents and aggressive infections. Officials stress this is standard outbreak investigation procedure and not cause for alarm. We have difficult news to report. 3 paramedics and 1 police officer who were injured in recent attack incidents have died. Our Daryl Stokes has been following this story. Daryl?
Carl, this is heartbreaking. All 4 individuals were bitten during altercations with violent, disoriented subjects over the past 10 days. All 4 developed the same rapidly progressing bacterial infection. All 4 are now dead. I spoke with family members of one of the paramedics who asked not to be identified. They told me he was healthy, strong, 42 years old. He was bitten on the forearm while responding to what dispatch called a cardiac arrest. Within 24 hours, he was in intensive care. 48 hours after that, he was gone. The medical examiner's office confirms they're investigating whether the infection itself might be transmissible. That's a significant development, Carl. They're treating this as a potential biohazard. Back to you.
Thank you, Daryl. Several area hospitals have implemented new security procedures in their morgues and intensive care units. While hospital spokespeople would not comment on specifics, sources tell us that bodies are now being restrained as a precautionary measure. County General released a brief statement saying, quote, "We are taking all necessary precautions to ensure staff and patient safety during this unusual situation." On social media, speculation has become rampant. Some users are claiming that dead people are coming back to life. One widely shared post states, quote, "They're shooting them in the head. Why else would they do that?" Multiple videos have gone viral showing what appear to be violent confrontations between police and individuals who seem impervious to pain. Authorities are urging the public not to share unverified content and warning that misinformation is spreading faster than facts. Joining us now is Morgan Harrison, Regional Emergency Management Coordinator. Mr. Harrison, can you address what we're seeing?
Carl, first I want to emphasize that we're monitoring the situation closely and coordinating response across multiple agencies. What we're dealing with appears to be a new synthetic drug combined with a particularly aggressive bacterial pathogen. The drug component causes extreme behavioral changes. The bacterial component causes rapid lethal infection in bite victims.
Mr. Harrison, people are seeing videos of individuals being shot multiple times and not going down. How do you explain that?
Drugs like PCP and bath salts are well documented to cause that kind of reaction. Individuals on these substances can have superhuman pain tolerance and strength. Law enforcement has encountered this before. It's terrifying, but it's not, it's not supernatural.
What should people do if they encounter someone behaving this way?
Do not approach them. Call 911 immediately and keep your distance. These individuals are extremely dangerous. If someone you know is bitten or injured by one of these individuals, get them to a hospital immediately. The infection is treatable if caught early.
Mr. Harrison, thank you for your time. We'll continue to follow this story closely. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow night. For Channel 7 News, I'm Carl Porter. Good night.
Welcome back to the Midnight Line. I'm Grant Mazzy, and it's been another long night. The phones haven't stopped ringing. People are worried. And honestly, I don't blame them. Let's go to the phones. First caller, you're on the air.
Grant, this is Sister Ruth. I'm calling from St. Mary's Parish. I've been praying on what's happening, and I can't help but wonder if we're seeing something beyond the natural. People disappearing, people attacking others, acting not like themselves. In Revelation, we're told there will be signs. I'm not saying this is the end times, but I am saying we should be mindful. We should be praying.
Sister Ruth, I appreciate the call. Prayer is never a bad idea, that's for sure. Next caller, you're on the Midnight Line.
Grant, I'm not a religious man, but I am a practical one. I've been stocking up water, canned goods, batteries. I've got a week's worth of supplies, maybe 2 if I'm careful. I'm not saying the sky is falling, but if things get worse, if grocery stores close or supply chains get disrupted, I'd rather be ready. People should think about preparing, just in case.
That's not bad advice, actually. Having some basic supplies on hand is never a bad idea. Next caller, go ahead.
Grant, my name is Alicia. I work at a hospital. I can't say which one for obvious reasons, but I need to tell someone what's happening. The staff is terrified. We're seeing things that don't make sense. Patients who have no pulse, no respiration, and then they move. Administration keeps telling us we're exhausted, that we're misreading the monitors, but we're not. I've been a nurse for 12 years. I know what death looks like, and I'm telling you, something is very wrong.
Alicia, I don't know what to say. That's deeply concerning. Are you safe?
I'm at work right now. We've got security everywhere. But Grant, if you or anyone listening knows someone in healthcare, tell them to be careful. Tell them to trust their instincts.
Alicia, thank you for calling. Please stay safe. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more of your calls. If you're out there listening, you're not alone. Whatever's happening, we're in this together. Stay with us.
Listen to me. Listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is something they do not want you to know. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I have never seen anything like what we're looking at right now. You think what's happening is random? You think these attacks are just bath salts, just drugs, just some accident? Wake up. I've got documents. I've got sources inside who are risking everything to get this information out. 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks before any of this started, there was a training exercise. Closed door, no press, no public record. You know who was there? Department of Defense, FEMA, CDC, all in the same room. What were they talking about? Well, funny you should ask, because 2 weeks later, the exact scenario they war game starts happening in real life. Exact scenario. Now let me walk you through this, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Look at a map. Go ahead, pull up a map of the United States. See where these attacks are showing up? It's not random. It's radiating outward from specific points. And those points, every single one of them, within 50 miles of a major research facility or military installation. That's not coincidence. That's not Mother Nature. That's coordination. That's a plan decades in the making. And here's what really bakes my noodle. The pharmaceutical companies, the ones who make the antibiotics that don't work on these infections, their stock jumped 20% 2 days before the first reports went public. How did they know? Follow the money. It always comes back to the money. And the CDC? Oh, the CDC? They open an investigation. They say, but what are they investigating? They already know what this is. They were in that room 3 weeks ago. This isn't an investigation. This is theater. This is them running out the clock while people die and disappear. Do you understand what I'm telling you? 11 people dead from bite wounds, 11 first responders and civilians, all within 48 hours of being bitten. And hospitals are restraining bodies now. Bodies! Why would you restrain a corpse unless you thought it might get back up? And the media. Oh, the media just keeps parroting the same line. It's bath salts. It's PCP. Stay calm. Meanwhile, nurses are calling into radio shows saying they're seeing dead people get up and move. But no, we're just exhausted. We're just stressed. We're misreading the monitors. I'm not saying I know exactly what this is. I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but I am telling you with absolute certainty that they are lying about what it isn't. This is not drugs. This is not natural. This is something else, and they know it. So what do? First, share this. Tell everyone you know. Not because I want followers. I don't care about that. But because the more people who know, the harder it becomes for them to operate in the shadows. Second, prepare. Get supplies, water, food, batteries, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Third, and this is the most important thing, question everything. Do not just accept what you're told. Look at the data. Look at the patterns. Use your own eyes, your own brain. They are counting on you to stay quiet. They are counting on you to comply. Don't give them that satisfaction. This is Glenn Ford, and I'll be here fighting this fight until we get answers. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and for God's sake, stay awake.
Good evening, I'm Carl Porter. 5 hospitals have declared states of emergency this evening, not due to patient volume, but due to what administrators are calling staff safety concerns. Our Rosita Hawthorne is outside Mercy General Hospital. Rosita?
Carl, the entire emergency room staff walked out approximately 2 hours ago. I spoke with one of the nurses who participated in the walkout. She wouldn't give her name, but she told me that a patient who had been declared deceased in the ER attacked 2 doctors when they were preparing to move the body. She said, and I'm quoting her directly now, "We are not being told the truth about what's happening. People are dying and then they're not staying dead." When I asked hospital administration for comment, they had no statement. Carl, I've covered medical stories for 8 years and I've never seen anything like this.
Rosita, what's the current status of the hospital?
The ER is closed. Ambulances are being diverted to County General and Sisters of Mercy. Security personnel, and Carl, this is confirmed, security personnel are now armed and have been given specific instructions about how to handle, and I'm trying to phrase this carefully, how to handle violent patients. I was told they've been instructed to aim for the head.
Rosita, stay safe. We're also receiving reports that National Guard units are being deployed to several cities in the region. The Pentagon denies that quarantine orders are in effect, but multiple witnesses are reporting checkpoints on major highways and restricted travel zones. We need to address something directly. On social media, in online forums, and frankly in some first responder communications we've obtained, people are using the term zombie to describe what they're witnessing. Joining us now is Dr. Constance Porter, a clinical psychologist specializing in mass psychology. Dr. Porter, why are people using this word?
Carl, what we're witnessing is a classic psychological defense mechanism. When people are confronted with something they don't understand, something that terrifies them, they reach for familiar narratives. And in our culture, zombies are a familiar narrative for societal collapse and uncontrollable threats.
But these are real events. Real people are dying.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this so dangerous. When we apply fictional frameworks to real crises, we stop thinking rationally. These are not zombies, Carl. These are people experiencing severe medical events that we haven't yet identified. The human brain creates patterns even when none exist. It's trying to make sense of chaos.
What do you say to the medical professionals who are reporting that deceased individuals are becoming violent?
I would say they're under enormous stress and seeing what they expect to see. Confirmation bias is incredibly powerful. If you expect to see someone rise from the dead, and then a patient who was in a deep coma suddenly moves, your brain will interpret that as confirmation of your fear. It's not malicious. It's human.
Dr. Porter, thank you. We want to remind viewers that authorities are asking residents to remain calm, avoid spreading unverified information, and report any suspicious activity to local law enforcement immediately. If you or someone you know has been bitten or injured by an aggressive individual, seek medical attention immediately. Do not wait. Time is critical. We'll continue to monitor this developing situation. For Channel 7 News, I'm Carl Porter. Stay safe.
The following is an official message from the Emergency Alert System. This is not a test. The Department of Homeland Security has issued a public safety advisory. Effective immediately. This is a precautionary advisory, not an emergency declaration. To preserve capacity for critical cases, residents are advised to avoid emergency rooms unless experiencing life-threatening injuries. Contact the Public Safety Hotline before seeking in-person medical care. Behaviors to report include violent or aggressive actions, individuals who appear disoriented and unresponsive to verbal commands, and anyone exhibiting unusual physical trauma. If you observe these behaviors, call 911 immediately. Do not approach. Do not attempt to assist. If you or someone in your household has been bitten or scratched by an aggressive individual, seek medical attention immediately. Time is critical. Do not wait for symptoms to develop. Residents should avoid non-essential travel. Remain indoors when possible. Lock all doors and windows. Avoid areas where violent incidents have been reported. This is a precautionary public safety advisory. Law enforcement and emergency services are responding to all reported incidents. Continue to monitor local news and official government channels for updates. This message will be repeated at regular intervals. Additional information is available at www.homelandsecurity.gov. This concludes this emergency alert system message.
This is Carl Porter with breaking news. 3 hospitals in the metropolitan area have lost contact with emergency services. Military units have been dispatched to investigate. We go now to Daryl Stokes, who is near one of the affected facilities. Daryl.
Carl, I'm approximately 3 blocks from Sisters of Mercy Hospital. I can't get any closer. National Guard has established a perimeter, and they are not letting anyone through. About 20 minutes ago, we heard gunfire, a lot of gunfire, and it's still continuing. I can see smoke rising from somewhere inside or behind the building. Civilians are being turned away. Family members are here crying, demanding information about loved ones inside. No one is giving them answers, Carl. No one knows what's happening in there.
Daryl, stay back from the perimeter. We're receiving word that the CDC director is holding an emergency press conference. We're going to that now.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Thomas Burke, Director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I'm here to address reports that have been circulating regarding unusual incidents at medical facilities and in communities across multiple states. We are aware of reports describing what witnesses have characterized as post-mortem activity. These reports are under active investigation. At this time, we cannot confirm the reliability or accuracy of these accounts. Medical professionals are operating under extreme stress, and misidentification of patient status is a documented phenomenon in crisis situations. What we can confirm is that we are facing a public health emergency of unprecedented scope. Violent incidents involving individuals exhibiting extreme behavioral changes have resulted in numerous casualties. Injuries sustained in these incidents carry an extraordinarily high mortality rate due to rapid onset of septic infection. In coordination with the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA, we are implementing emergency response measures. Secure facilities are being designated as civilian safe zones at select military installations. Coordinated evacuation procedures will be announced by local emergency management within the next 6 to 12 hours. Until evacuation orders are issued for your area, remain in your homes. Avoid contact with any individuals displaying aggressive or unusual behavior. If you or anyone in your household sustains a bite or scratch injury, seek immediate medical attention. Time is critical. We understand this situation is deeply concerning. Our scientists are working to understand the full scope of what we are facing. We will provide updates as information becomes available. Thank you.
That was CDC Director Dr. Thomas Burke. We're receiving reports that grocery stores and gas stations across the region are being overwhelmed. Some gas stations have already run dry. Store shelves are being emptied. Police are responding to multiple incidents of violence at retail locations. We're also receiving disturbing reports from Los Angeles. Multiple neighborhoods are experiencing widespread civil unrest. The National Guard has established perimeters in several districts, but residents report limited communication from authorities. Fires have been reported in commercial areas. Cell service in affected zones appears to be disrupted. Despite official guidance to remain in place, some residents are not waiting for evacuation orders. Traffic cameras show highways clogged with vehicles heading out of the city. Authorities are pleading with people not to self-evacuate. They say uncoordinated evacuation will create gridlock and prevent emergency services from operating. A hotline has been established for information, 1-800-CDC-INFO. That's 1-800-232-4636. Lines are reported to be overwhelmed. Keep trying if you cannot get through. To those watching, please do not panic. Lock your doors. Stay away from anyone behaving strangely or aggressively. Wait for official evacuation instructions from local emergency management. This is Carl Porter. We will continue our coverage throughout the night. Stay safe. This is Carl Porter. The CDC and World Health Organization have officially declared a pandemic. Mandatory evacuations are now in effect for major metropolitan areas across the country. The National Guard is deploying to establish safe zones at military installations and stadiums. Highways are already gridlocked with civilians attempting to evacuate. We go now to Daryl Stokes, who is embedded with an evacuation convoy. Daryl.
Carl, it's chaos out here. I'm on Interstate 25, and as far as I can see in either direction, nothing but cars. We're barely moving. People are abandoning their vehicles and walking. I just saw a family with 2 small children carrying suitcases on foot. There's shouting, arguments breaking out over nothing. People are scared, Carl, really scared, and I can't blame them.
Daryl, are you seeing any National Guard or military presence?
Yes, about a mile ahead, there's a checkpoint. Guard units are directing traffic toward the safe zones. But, Carl, the lines they're miles long. I don't know how everyone is going to get through.
Stay safe out there, Daryl. We're joined now by Colonel Rick Smith, a retired military analyst. Colonel Smith, can you explain the containment strategy we're seeing?
Carl, the strategy is to consolidate the uninfected population into secure, defensible locations. Safe zones have been designated at 15 military installations nationwide, including Fort Benning, Camp Pendleton, and Joint Base Lewis McChord. In Los Angeles, the National Guard is establishing Safe Zone India in the El Sereno neighborhood, along with additional perimeter zones in Boyle Heights and East Hollywood. These locations have infrastructure, supplies, and security to sustain large populations.
Colonel, I have to ask, the scale of what we're seeing, does this exceed initial projections?
Honestly, yes. The speed of escalation, the failure of standard containment measures, this has never been seen before. Military planners train for worst-case scenarios, but what we're seeing is it's beyond our models.
Breaking news. We're receiving reports that 911 services in several major cities have stopped responding to calls. In Los Angeles, widespread civil unrest has erupted following an incident where police shot an unarmed man multiple times. What witnesses interpreted as excessive force was, we now understand, a response to an active threat. Cellular networks are experiencing widespread outages. If you are in an affected area and need emergency assistance, proceed directly to the nearest safe zone. If you can't reach a safe zone, shelter in place immediately. Do not attempt to travel. Board up windows and doors. Secure food and water. Wait for further instructions. The President will address the nation within the hour. We will bring you that address as it happens. Our power is, we're experiencing intermittent power here at the station. If we go dark, tune to emergency broadcast frequencies. We will continue broadcasting as long as we can. To everyone watching, to everyone listening, I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. But please, follow the evacuation orders. Get to safety if you can. If you can't, find shelter. Stay together. Help each other. For Channel 7 News, this is Carl Porter. God help us all. We interrupt this broadcast for a special address from the President of the United States. This comes as the situation continues to develop across multiple states. We go now live to the White House.
My fellow Americans, good evening. I come to you tonight not with easy answers, because frankly, there aren't any. I know many of you are scared. I know you're holding your children a little closer tonight, checking your locks one more time, wondering if the world you woke up to this morning is the same one you'll wake up to tomorrow. I wish I could tell you everything is fine. I can't. But I can tell you we're doing everything in our power to address this situation. Here's what we know. The situation began approximately 3 weeks ago in isolated pockets across the country. Since then, we've seen similar incidents in 14 states. I won't lie to you. The early response was, let's call it imperfect. Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, we got punched, hard, but we're getting back up. What we don't know yet is the full scope. Our scientists are working around the clock, and I mean that literally. I saw our CDC director's coffee intake this morning. Impressive and concerning. Here's what we're doing. I've authorized the deployment of National Guard units to affected areas. Not to fight our own citizens, to help them. These men and women are trained for exactly this kind of situation. FEMA is coordinating with state emergency management. Supply lines are being established. Medical resources are being positioned. Is it perfect? No. Is anything ever? Also no. But we're adapting. We're learning. We're improving by the hour. Now, what I need from you, if you're in an affected area, follow local emergency instructions. Don't try to be a hero. This isn't Die Hard. You're not Bruce Willis. Follow evacuation orders and leave the dangerous stuff to the professionals. Stay informed, but don't doom scroll until 3 a.m. That helps no one, least of all your blood pressure. I'm authorizing emergency powers to ensure rapid response and resource allocation. Martial law will be implemented in affected regions to maintain order and facilitate evacuations. This is not a decision I make lightly, but it is necessary. Containment procedures will be implemented to protect unaffected areas. I can't give you all the details right now, but know that hard decisions are being made with your safety as the priority. Let me be clear about something. The situation is deteriorating faster than our initial models predicted. The days ahead will test us in ways we haven't experienced in our lifetimes. There will be difficult decisions, painful losses, but I've seen what Americans can do when we pull together. We've faced worse. Well, in Jaws, the mayor kept the beaches open. We're not doing that. We're learning from the movies, if nothing else. But we've faced hard things before, and we're still here. My grandfather used to say the measure of a person isn't what happens to them, but what they do about it. That goes for countries too. So tonight, check on your neighbors. Call someone you love. Get some sleep if you can. And know that your government, your military, your first responders, they're not sleeping until this is handled. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Good night.
This is Grant Mazzy. I'm still here, still broadcasting on emergency power. I don't know how many of you are out there listening, but if you are, you're not alone. The phones they're mostly dead. Cellular networks are down, but I've got a landline still working. If you can reach me, call. First caller, go ahead.
Grant, it's Marion. I called you, what was it, 2 weeks ago, about my neighbor?
Marion, yes. I remember. Are you okay?
My family didn't make it to a safe zone. We tried. We got in the car, drove for hours, but the roads were jammed. By the time we got close, they'd sealed the gates. My husband and kids, we turned back. We made it home.
Marion, I'm so sorry. Are you safe where you are?
I don't know what safe means anymore, but I've got food, water, and I'm listening to you. So thank you, Grant. Thank you for still being here.
I'll be here as long as I can. Next caller, you're on the air.
Grant, it's Eugene. I called about the school closures. Remember? Said it seemed coordinated.
I remember.
The government knew. And you know what? I wish I'd been wrong. I wish I'd been the paranoid, crazy person everyone thought I was. Millions of people are dead. They bombed our own cities. And now I get to sit here alone in my bunker listening to the world end and knowing I saw it coming.
Eugene, none of this is your fault.
I know. But it doesn't help.
Next caller.
Grant, it's Alicia, the nurse who called before.
Alicia, are you still at the hospital?
No, I got out. I was in Safe Zone 7 for maybe 24 hours. Then I saw what was happening. The guards. I don't think the guards are trying to help us anymore. They seem like they're getting ready to leave, and I think they're going to leave us all behind to die. I escaped before they sealed the gates completely. Climbed a fence. Ran. I'm holed up in an abandoned house now. I can hear them outside sometimes. The dead ones, walking.
Stay quiet. Stay hidden. We're going to get through this. We have to. If anyone else is out there, if you can hear me, know this. You're not alone. We're scattered. We're broken, but we're still here. Share what you know. Help each other. Avoid the cities. Find water. Stay quiet. I'll keep broadcasting as long as the generator holds. This is the Midnight Line, and we're still here.
This is Carl Porter, broadcasting on emergency generator power. The main studio has been abandoned. I'm alone here with a skeleton crew. Most of the staff evacuated to safe zones 2 days ago. We stayed to keep broadcasting. It's been 2 days since what people are now calling Monument Day, August 27th, the day 911 went dark across the country, the day we realized the old world was gone. I've established contact with Rosita Hawthorne, who is inside Safe Zone 7. Rosita, can you hear me?
Carl, yes, I can hear you. I'm at the stadium. There are thousands of people here, packed in so tight you can barely move. The supplies, they're running out. We were supposed to have food and water for weeks, but there are too many people. I'm hearing the same reports from Safe Zone India in El Sereno, California, from Camp Pendleton. Everywhere, it's the same. And Carl, people are dying. Natural causes, heart attacks, heat stroke in this crowd. And when they die, they all come back. The guards, Carl, they're shooting anyone who shows signs of illness. They're not waiting. A woman coughed too hard, and I saw it happen.
My God. Rosita, are you safe?
I don't think anyone here is safe.
We have received reports of military action being taken in major metropolitan areas, an operation being referred to as Operation Cobalt. The reports, which we are hearing from ham radio operators, indicates that these cities are being bombarded with incendiary weapons to contain the threat. I've obtained leaked audio from one of these operators, military communications. What I'm about to play, it's going to be hard to hear, but you need to know what's happening.
Authorization code Alpha 79 of Bravo. Execute Operation Cobalt. Priority targets Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, Philadelphia, Phoenix. Incendiary bombardment of urban centers to commence at 0900 hours Pacific Daylight Time. Civilian evacuation is no longer feasible. The objective is containment through elimination of infected biomass.
Do you understand what that means? They bombed the cities. They bombed Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, American cities, with American citizens still inside. Incendiary bombardment. They used napalm. They burned them. They burned everyone. There were still people in those cities, people who couldn't get out, people who were trapped, families, children, and our government, our military, they incinerated them. I've been sitting here, trying to find the words, trying to understand how this could happen. The power's flickering again. I don't know how much longer I can stay on the air, But I will not let this be forgotten. Someone has to remember. Someone has to bear witness. This is Carl Porter. If you're listening, if you're still out there, find shelter from the dead. We will continue reporting when we are able.
I've got the documents. I've got the documents. Leaked CDC communications, internal memos, emails between Dr. Edwin Jenner at the CDC and researchers in France. France, and what they're saying, what they've known since April, is going to make you sick. It's going to make you want to burn everything down. The virus didn't come from nature. It didn't fall from the sky. It didn't evolve in some bat cave in China. It was made, created in a biomedical research facility in France called La Biomedicine. The Primrose team, the Violet team, scientists playing God, trying to, get this, trying to extend human life, trying to reverse death itself. And instead, they created this. But here's the part that's going to blow your mind. Here's the part they don't want you to know. The virus, the one they're calling Wildfire, it's airborne. It spread globally months ago, spring 2010, maybe earlier. And every single human being on this planet is already infected. You, me, your kids, your grandmother, we're all carrying it right now. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The quarantine's useless. The safe zones separating infected from clean, theater. There is no clean. There never was. Every single person they evacuated to those safe zones was already a carrier. Every soldier, every doctor, every politician in their bunker. The virus is dormant, asymptomatic, waiting. And when you die, any death, your brain reboots and you come back. Now you're asking, what about the bites? What about the people who get bitten and die in 2 days? Here's what the CDC knows. Here's what Jenner and the French researchers figured out. The bite doesn't give you the virus. You already have the virus. The bite gives you something else. Necrotic bacteria, a secondary infection they're calling necrosepsis. The zombie's mouth is a petri dish of death, rotting tissue, bacterial accelerants. That's what kills you. A cytokine storm that cooks your organs from the inside. And then, once you're dead from the secondary infection, the virus you've been carrying all along activates, and you turn. The CDC knew this in April. April, before the first walker was ever reported on the news, before the evacuations, before Monument Day. Dr. Edwin Jenner at the CDC was in communication with the French Primrose team. They were sharing data, sharing research. They knew the virus was airborne. They knew it was in everyone. They knew quarantines wouldn't work. And they said nothing. They let you believe you could be saved. They let you run to their safe zones. They let you think your family was clean. Lies. All of it. Lies. You want to know why they bombed the cities? Operation Cobalt, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago? Because they knew everyone in those cities was already infected. They knew when those people died from starvation, from violence, from natural causes, they would all turn. Millions of walkers, an unstoppable wave. So they burned them. They burned them while they were still alive. Men, women, children, incinerated. Because in the government's calculation, it was better to murder them as humans than fight them as monsters. So what do you do with this information? First, you survive. You understand that everyone around you is a potential threat. Not because they're evil, not because they're infected in the way you thought, but because when they die, and they will die, they become something else. There is no cure. There is no vaccine. There is no immunity. The virus is in your DNA now. It's in your nervous system. It's waiting. Second, you remember that this didn't have to happen. Remember that scientists in France created this. Remember that your government knew and lied. Remember that they chose murder over transparency. Write it down. Tell your children. Make sure this is never forgotten, never forgiven. Third, understand the rules. Destroy the brain. That's the only way to stop them. A bite means death in days, not because of the virus, because of the bacteria. There's no stopping it. No antibiotics will work. When someone's bitten, they're already dead. They just don't know it yet. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're awake. And being awake in a world this evil, this corrupt, this broken, that's the hardest thing a human being can do. But you're doing it. You're still here. You're still listening. You're still alive. Stay alive. Stay angry. Stay human. And hold them accountable. Someday, somehow, we will hold them accountable. This is Glenn Ford, true soldier, freedom fighter, and survivor. Signing off, but not giving up. Never giving up.
Brothers and sisters, if there are any of you left to hear me, I'm here in the basement of St. Mary's by candlelight, and I need to talk to you. I won't pretend I have easy words for you tonight. I won't stand here and tell you that everything happens for a reason or that God has a plan we just can't see, because right now I can't see it either. The dead walk among us. Our government murdered its own people. Families are gone. Children are gone. The world we knew, the world we built, it's gone. I want to read you something from the book of Exodus. After the Israelites escaped slavery in Egypt, they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. 40 years of not knowing where they were going. 40 years of hunger and thirst and fear. 40 years of wondering if God had abandoned them. We are in the wilderness now. I don't know how long we'll be here. I don't know if we'll ever find our way out. But I know this, we are not the first people to face the end of everything we knew. And we won't be the last. From Lamentations chapter 3, verses 22 and 23, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness every morning, even this morning, even tomorrow morning, when you wake up and the world is still broken, His mercies are new. And that means something. It has to mean something. I know some of you have lost your faith. How could you not? How do you believe in a loving God when the dead are eating the living, when your children are gone, when everything you trusted betrayed you? I don't have an answer for that. I wish I did. But I can tell you this, to love in this world, in this new terrible world, is an act of defiance. To care for each other, to protect each other, to refuse to become monsters ourselves, that is how we honor those we've lost. There are maybe 15 of us here in this church basement, 15 souls who made it, 15 people who are still breathing, still thinking, still human. That's enough. That's enough to start again. So here's what I'm asking of you. Don't give up. Don't let this world turn you into something you're not. Hold on to your humanity with everything you have, because that is the only thing they couldn't take from us. That is the only thing the dead can't touch. Let us pray. God, we don't understand. We don't know why. We're angry, we're broken, we're afraid, but we're still here. Help us know what to do with that. Help us find meaning in the wilderness. Help us love each other even when it hurts. Amen. May the peace of Christ, which surpasses all understanding, guard your hearts and minds. Go in peace, go in love, and live.
This is Carl Porter. It's been 6 days since Monument Day. I'm broadcasting on emergency radio frequencies. To anyone still listening, the station is gone. I'm alone. I've obtained another recording. Orders given to National Guard commanders on August 28th, the day after Monument Day. I'm going to play it for you. And then I'm going to tell you what it means.
This is Colonel Leon Strife, National Guard Command. Authorization code Bravo 3 Charlie 8. Execute Sunset Standard Operating Procedure. All personnel within designated safe zones are to conduct humane termination of civilian populations prior to tactical withdrawal. Objective: deny hostile entities access to additional biomass. Method: lethal injection preferred. Followed by destruction of the brain using a captive bolt gun. Firearms authorized if necessary. Timeline: completion within 12 hours of this directive. This is a lawful military order. Failure to comply will result in court-martial.
Humane termination. That's what they called it. Humane. As if there's anything humane about executing civilians. As if there's anything humane about murdering thousands of people who came to you for protection. The Sunset Standard Operating Procedure. I've learned this is the ground component of Operation Cobalt. That was the order to execute everyone in the safe zones. Not just the infected, not just the sick, everyone. Let me read you the list of safe zones where this order was carried out. Safe Zone India in El Sereno, Los Angeles. Safe Zone 7, Dallas. Safe Zone 12, Phoenix. Safe Zone 3, Miami. Safe Zone 9, Seattle. Safe Zone 14, Denver. Camp Pendleton in California. Fort Benning in Georgia. Thousands of people, families who did everything right, who followed the evacuation orders, who made it to the safe zones, who thought they were safe, executed by their own military. The logic, if you can call it that, was simple. The virus is in everyone. Everyone who dies becomes one of them. The military couldn't leave thousands of potential threats behind when they withdrew. So they killed them. They killed them all. Now I understand the full picture. Sunset was the ground component of Cobalt. While cities burned from above, they murdered refugees below. Two halves of the same operation. This wasn't containment. This wasn't protection. This was genocide. After Cobalt, I thought I understood the depths they would sink to. But Sunset, the execution of refugees who trusted them, this crosses a line I didn't know existed. There is no sense to be made. History will remember what happened here. I will make sure of it. This was not containment. This was not necessary. This was slaughter. And the people responsible, whoever survives this, whatever government crawls out of the rubble, they will answer for it. This is Carl Porter, still broadcasting, still bearing witness.
This is Kilo 7, November Echo Delta, broadcasting on 144.2. Massive herd moving south on Highway 75. Estimate 2,000, maybe more. Avoid the corridor. Repeat, avoid Highway 75 south. They're following the road. Don't know why. Maybe sound. Maybe I don't know. Just stay clear.
Kilo 7, this is Whiskey 5 X-Ray Lima Mike. Copy your transmission. Passing intel to anyone monitoring. Be advised. Armed group operating near the Tennessee border. Military uniforms, but behavior is not. They're not following standard procedures. They're taking supplies, taking people. Avoid if possible.
Whiskey 5, understood. Where are you broadcasting from?
Abandoned fire station, about 30 miles west of Knoxville. We've got 6 people here, low on food, medical supplies running out, If anyone's listening with access to antibiotics, we need help.
This is November 3, Quebec Romeo Tango. Can anyone hear me? I'm trying to reach, my family was in safe zone 12. Phoenix. Has anyone from Phoenix? My wife, Sarah. My daughter, Emma. They said the safe zones were. Please, if anyone knows anything.
November 3, I'm sorry. Safe Zone 12, the military, nobody got out.
No, they have to. They were right there. I told them to go. I told them they'd be safe. I should have.
November 3? November 3, do you copy? Are you still there? Signal's gone. Battery probably died. Or worse.
This is the world now. Whiskey 5 X-ray Lima Mike. Monitoring 144.2. If you're out there, you're not alone. Keep broadcasting. Keep surviving.
This is Carl Porter. The power grid has failed nationwide. I'm broadcasting when I can, when the generator has fuel. I don't know how many of you can still hear me. I don't know how many of you are left. 17 days since Monument Day. 17 days since civilization collapsed. The education I've received, lessons nobody should have to learn. The survivors are calling them walkers, the dead, the ones who come back. And there are rules now. Rules we've learned the hard way. Destroy the brain. That's the only way to stop them. The heart doesn't matter. The lungs don't matter. Only the brain. Bites are fatal. The infection from a walker's bite causes death within days, sometimes hours. There is no cure, no treatment. If you're bitten, you die, and then you come back. Everyone who dies becomes one. It doesn't matter how you die. Heart attack, old age, accident. If your brain is intact when you die, you rise. We're all infected. We've all been infected from the start. If you're listening, here's what you need to know. Water sources, creeks and streams are safer than standing water. Boil everything. Food, canned goods will last for years. Check expiration dates, but they're guidelines, not absolutes. Shelter, avoid cities, small towns, rural areas, places where you can see them coming. Travel during the day. They're slower in daylight. Easier to see. At night, stay inside, stay quiet. Sound attracts them. Find other people. I know it's hard to trust. I know some survivors are as dangerous as the walkers, but we weren't meant to be alone. Build community. Protect each other. That's how we survive. The generator's running low. I'll broadcast again when I can. Stay alive out there. For Channel 7 News, this is Carl Porter.
This is Eugene Anderson broadcasting on emergency frequencies. If you're hearing this, you're still alive. It's been 6 months since hell opened its gates. 6 months since the dead claimed dominion over the living. And I'm still here, broadcasting from my bunker, alone. I was a prepper. Spent years stockpiling supplies, building this bunker, planning for the worst. People called me paranoid, said I was wasting my time and money. Turns out, I wasn't paranoid enough, because all the supplies in the world don't prepare you for watching civilization collapse, for being alone while everyone you know dies. But being right is also why I'm alive. So I'm going to share what I've learned. 6 months of hard lessons. Things that work. Things that don't. If you're out there, if you're listening, maybe this will keep you breathing another day. First thing, they hunt by smell. Took me 3 months to figure that out. Lost a lot of good people learning it. They can see, they can hear, but smell is how they find the living. Fresh blood, sweat, fear, they smell it. Which brings me to the thing that saved my life. And I know how this is going to sound. I know it's horrific. But if you need to move through an area where they're gathered, cover yourself in their blood. The blood of the dead. I'm talking about guts, viscera, the rotting flesh of corpses. Smear it on your clothes, your skin. It masks your scent. They walk right past you. I've done it. Stood 3 feet from one of them, covered in dead man's blood, and it just kept walking. You'll want to vomit. You'll want to scream. Do it quietly, and do it after you're safe. Because this trick works. And in this world, what works is what keeps you alive. Lesson 2. Noise discipline. Gunfire attracts them from miles away. I've seen hordes numbering in the hundreds drawn to a single gunshot. Use blades, blunt weapons, crossbows if you can find them. Silence is survival. Lesson 3. The head. Only the head. You can put 5 rounds in their chest, and they'll keep coming. Destroy the brain, sever the spine at the neck, or cause enough cranial trauma that the brain stops functioning. Nothing else works. Nothing. Lesson 4. Everyone is infected. Everyone. It doesn't matter if you've been bitten or not. When you die, you come back. Heart attack, old age, slip and fall, doesn't matter. Dead is temporary now. Which means if you're with people, you need protocols. Someone dies, someone else destroys the brain immediately. No exceptions. No waiting to say goodbye. I've seen groups torn apart because someone couldn't put down their wife, their kid, their friend. Hesitation kills. Bites are fatal. Always. The fever comes on within hours. Death follows in 1 to 3 days. I haven't seen anyone survive a bite. Not one. If you're bitten, you have a choice. End it on your own terms, or wait for the fever and then someone else has to do it for you. Lesson 5. Water is everything. More than food. More than ammunition. You can last weeks without food, 3 days without water, and you're done. Every decision you make should start with, do I have access to clean water? Avoid cities. I know that seems obvious now, but people are still trying to scavenge urban areas. The density of the dead in cities it's overwhelming. You go into a city, you don't come out. Small towns, rural areas, that's where you want to be. The military is gone. Anyone still hoping for rescue? For evacuation? For the National Guard to show up? Stop hoping. Operation Cobalt killed the cities. The Sunset Standard operating procedure killed everyone in the safe zones. There is no government. There is no rescue. There's just us. Whatever's left of us. Fine people. I know I'm alone. I know that sounds hypocritical. But don't be like me. Humans aren't meant to survive alone. Find a group. Contribute. Protect each other. The lone wolf fantasy. That's how you die cold and alone. But choose carefully. Not every group is worth joining. I've monitored radio traffic. Some groups they're worse than the dead. Marauders, slavers, people who decided the end of the world meant the end of morality. Avoid them. And if you can't avoid them, make sure you see them before they see you. I've heard reports of settlements, places with walls, gardens, livestock, people trying to build something permanent. I don't know if they'll last, but they're trying. And maybe that's what matters now, that we're still trying. The things I've seen in 6 months, the things I've done, I used to think I understood what survival meant. I was wrong. Survival means becoming something you wouldn't recognize. It means doing things that would have horrified you 6 months ago. It means carrying the weight of every decision, every mistake, every person you couldn't save. But here's the thing. You adapt or you die. Those are the only two options. And I've seen too many people die because they couldn't let go of who they used to be. The old rules don't apply. The old morality doesn't work. This is a new world, and it demands a new way of thinking. Some final advice? Keep moving. Never stay in one place too long unless it's fortified. The dead wander, they migrate. Herds of them, sometimes thousands strong. You don't want to be in their path when they come through. Travel light, carry only what you need. Heavy packs slow you down, and speed is life. A good knife, water purification, first aid, fire starter. Everything else is luxury. Learn to be quiet. I mean really quiet. Practice moving without sound, breathing without noise. The dead may be slow, but there are so many of them. You can't fight them all. You have to slip past them, and that means silence. I'll be broadcasting again next week. Same time, same frequency. I'll share what I learn, what works, what kills. Maybe it'll help someone out there. Maybe it won't. But it gives me a reason to keep going. And in this world, you need a reason. I used to think being prepared meant having supplies. Food, water, ammunition. And yeah, that's part of it. But real preparation is mental. It's accepting that the world you knew is gone. It's being willing to do what you have to do. It's carrying on when every instinct tells you to give up. To whoever's listening, stay smart, stay quiet, stay alive. Cover yourself in their blood if you have to. Do whatever it takes, because we're all that's left. And if we don't make it, then they win. And I'll be damned if I let that happen. This is Eugene Anderson. Still broadcasting, still surviving. Good luck out there. You're going to need it.
This is Herschel Dixon. Still broadcasting, still alive. It's been 365 days since 911 went dark, since the walkers claimed our world. I used to do this show with guests, experts, journalists, people with stories to tell. Now I'm alone in a broadcasting station in what used to be rural Pennsylvania. My guests are all dead or scattered. So it's just me, talking into the void, hoping someone out there is listening. So let me tell you what the world looks like 1 year in. What I've seen, what I've heard over the radio, what's left of us. The major cities are gone. And I don't mean abandoned. I mean incinerated. Operation Cobalt saw to that. Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, Philadelphia, Phoenix, they bombed them. Napalm, incendiaries, turned them into ash. The smaller cities that weren't bombed, they're overrun. Millions of the dead wandering through empty streets. You can't go near them. The density it's impossible. Cities are dead zones now, literally, but people are surviving. Small groups, communities forming in rural areas. I've been monitoring radio traffic, and I'm hearing reports of settlements, real settlements, places with walls, gardens, organization. There's a place in Virginia. I've heard multiple reports about it. They call it the Alexandria Safe Zone. Supposed to be a whole neighborhood that got walled off early. Solar panels, water systems, maybe 100 people living there. I don't know if it's real or just wishful thinking on the radio, but people talk about it like it's real. But here's the thing that's got my attention. About 3 months ago, I picked up a transmission. Weak signal, broken up, but the guy was talking about a place in Ohio. Said it was big, really big, like thousands of people big. He called it the Commonwealth. Said they have electricity, running water, a functioning government. He said they're rebuilding civilization, not just surviving, actually rebuilding. Now, I know how that sounds. Too good to be true. Probably is. But I've heard the name Commonwealth from 3 different sources now. 3 different people on 3 different frequencies all mentioning the same place. That's not coincidence. One transmission said there's somewhere around the Great Lakes region. Another said Ohio specifically. Nobody had exact coordinates, or if they did, they weren't sharing. But the fact that it's even being talked about, that people know it exists, that's something. So I'm making a decision. I'm going to try to find it. The Commonwealth. I'm going to pack up what I can carry, leave this broadcasting station behind, and head west, toward Ohio. I know it's risky. I know I might not make it. The roads are death traps. Herds of the dead migrate along highways. And then there are the living to worry about. Not every survivor is, a good person. I've heard stories, marauders, raiders, people who decided the apocalypse meant they could do whatever they wanted. But staying here alone, broadcasting into the void, that's not living. That's just existing. And I didn't survive a year of this nightmare just to exist. Let me tell you what I've learned in a year. What's kept me alive? Maybe it'll help someone out there. The dead are slow, but they never stop. They don't sleep. They don't rest. They just keep moving. You can outrun one. You can outrun 10. But when there are hundreds, thousands, you can't fight them all. You have to avoid them. They travel in herds. I've seen groups of them, maybe 1,000 strong, just wandering in one direction, following sound, following movement. If you're in their path, you move. You don't try to fight. You don't try to redirect them. You just get out of the way. The worst part, honestly, isn't the dead, it's the living. Some people out there, they've lost their humanity. They see other survivors as resources, as threats, as prey. You have to be careful who you trust. But there are good people too. People trying to help, trying to rebuild, trying to hold on to what makes us human. Those are the people worth finding, worth protecting, worth risking everything for. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. None of us are. I've done things I never thought I'd do, seen things I can't unsee, lost people I cared about. But I'm still here, still fighting, still hoping. This might be my last broadcast for a while, maybe forever. I'm packing up the equipment, taking what I can carry, leaving the rest. If I make it to the Commonwealth, maybe I'll broadcast from there. Tell you what I found. If I don't make it, well, someone else will pick up the torch. Someone else will keep broadcasting, keep documenting, keep reminding people what happened, how we got here, what we lost. To everyone listening, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, don't give up, find people, build something, help each other. We didn't survive this long just to become like them. We're still human. We still matter. The old world is gone. We can't get it back, but we can build something new. Something better, maybe, or at least something worth living for. This is Herschel Dixon, signing off. Stay alive out there. Stay human, and if you hear anything about the Commonwealth, anything at all, try to get the word out. Because if it's real, if it's even half of what people say it is, then we have a chance. A real chance. Good luck out there. And remember, you're not alone. Even when it feels like it, You're not alone.
Join us next time as we witness the next chapter in our species' fight for survival. The end times are far from over. Until then, here is a preview of our next broadcast.
Personal log. Dr. William Chaudhry, May 7th. It's been 3 days since Robert was admitted to UCSF. 3 days, and I still can't get the image out of my head. The way he looked when they took him out of Lab 7. We were so excited about the ALZ-113 trials. The cognitive improvements we saw in the chimpanzees. They were beyond anything we'd projected. Neural density increasing. Synaptic connections forming faster than we thought possible. Bright Eyes was remarkable. All of them were remarkable. Robert was in Lab 7 when the accident happened. The aerosolized delivery system malfunctioned. Just for a few seconds. We thought the exposure was minimal. The viral load was so low. We ran tests. Everything came back negative. He seemed fine. I keep thinking about his wife, his 2 kids. He showed me pictures once. His daughter just started kindergarten. The containment measures we had in place, they were supposed to be adequate. We followed every guideline, every single one. The company lawyers told us not to comment, not to admit anything. Patient privacy, they said. Legal liability. But Robert isn't just a patient. He's our colleague. He trusted us. He trusted the safety measures. Dr. Bateman said this looks isolated. She's probably correct. The virus was designed to repair neural tissue in humans, not to harm them. But the apes, they thrived on it. Their immune systems embraced it. Maybe human physiology is different. Maybe our immune response is treating it as a threat. I'll visit him tomorrow if they let me. I need to see him. I don't know. I need him to know we're doing everything we can. End log.